Right, welcome back everybody. Back at this job again, and as you can see, that's dried quite nicely overnight. There's a little bit of drying off to go down these sticker areas, but hopefully that will sort of pick up as the day goes on. So just been around, just scraping up all the edges, getting all the snots off, giving it a good sweep, get some masking tape down everywhere. Because the next thing to do is paint all this with a primer. And I will be using this EWI top coat primer, so I'll give that all a coat. And I think that is, if it's like the other primers, they got very fine granules in them as well, so it's like an extra layer of grip, like a grit. And then once that's all dried off, I'm going to be spraying this using my brand new machine. So fingers crossed all goes really well and might get out of here today, which would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, let's get some of this into there and start painting. All primed up, and doesn't that look better already? And then I've got the lovely job of masking up all this. A pain in the arse really, so I've got to obviously mask and protect all this stuff. Then I can spray this stuff with my new thing, so I'll be showing you that in a while. That'll be as new to me as it is probably to a lot of you, so let's let that pick up, get something to eat, get masking. But I'm pleased with the way it's come out. It's starting to sort of give me some confidence that it's going to look like a really decent job when I'm finished. Now that's set up to pressure. Obviously all I've got to do is open that up. And then obviously as it uses the air, it fills it back up and shuts off again. The hose is out here, and I give you a nice 20-metre hose with this. And then that hose clips into here. Nice and simple, that clicks into there. Obviously there's your trigger. There's the hopper that you put all that into. And then when you open it, you've got quite a big nozzle. You've got an 8mm nozzle. So obviously when that opens, all the material that is going down that hole is being blown out of that nozzle, which is the biggest one at 8mm. That's what I've sort of seen on YouTube, that 8mm is the nozzle that you want for this stuff. I've got two other nozzles, but they're a bit smaller. So this is literally an experiment on the job. I haven't even tested it on a bit of board or anything. So I'm going to test it on that bit at the back, because that'll be the bit that really gets less seen. But I want to get all this bit sprayed and then move over to there. I mean, the masking's been horrendous. Like. So I just want to get from there, all around there, and this bit sprayed. And then I can sort of take all this tape down there, and then all I've got to do is finish masking there, and just around this pillar. Not as quick as these as what I thought. It seems to be really chucking it on quite heavy really, so I might drop down a nozzle size. It seems to be really putting it on quite sort of blobby. But that's all right, because I just went over it the normal way with the, you know, the flow, and it seems to have brought it all in again. Probably a little bit of me panicking, like anything, you know, it's noisy and it's new, and it's hurrying me up, it's making me panic a bit, so hopefully I'll get a little bit better with it. definitely easy to get on the wall, but not as quick and as easy as what I thought. It's something I'm doing wrong. I haven't obviously got the hang of the mixture or the nozzle right yet, so we'll have a little play about with that. But by and large, yeah, it's an easier way to put it on, that's for sure. Right, let's go down the size on the nozzle, which I believe is a 6. So let's try that. Right, that was better with a smaller nozzle, a little bit more relaxed, and I think the secret is that you're not going to do it in one pass. I think you've got to go back for a second one. That looks okay. Still looks a bit blobby in my opinion, but maybe it just does a little bit more blobby, I'm not sure. But I'm going to drop down again to the smaller nozzle and see how that performs now. Right, that's definitely coming up better now. Still doesn't look the same as, you know, when you rub it up with a trowel. I suppose it's always going to have a bit more of like peaks on it and stuff like that, but I'm happy with that for what this job is anyway. So, you know, it's just to tidy up. So it's looking okay really. It's not, and I haven't had to touch that with anything except just spray it on. And I went down to the smallest nozzle because one of my subscribers was talking about buying exactly the same setup as what I've done. So I've gone down to the smallest nozzle now, and it's definitely slower because you're not filling up the hopper so much, but I feel it's a bit more controlled. And at this stage of sort of experience that I am with spraying this, I'd rather have the slower version of it. I might move up to the bigger nozzle when I've worked things out a bit, but for that it was good. There's a couple of little patches grinning through. I don't know if it's just drying and pulling in, but the beauty is with a sprayer is that you can blow them in again. It's not like with a trowel. Once you've done that thing with a trowel like I've done up there, once you've done, that's it. There literally is no second chance. But with this, you can just go again and again. So that's all good. So my confidence has grown a lot just by doing them 2 bits now. I feel like I've sort of got the gist of what it's all about, really. I don't know if you're the same as me. When you've got machines on that are loud and noisy, it panics you. It almost makes you feel like you've got to hurry up because there's a noise, you know, like, I don't know, it's just a mental thing, really. Right, now what I'm quickly learning is applying silicone render by hand, that's where the skill lies. Putting it on with this machine, it's easy. So if you're like me, if you learn by putting it on by hand and you want to move up to the sprayer, honestly, it's a jump to an easier solution. There is obviously a little bit of a knack to it, but this thing just does it for you. I've really got my confidence up now. So by doing 1, 2, 3 walls, I feel like I've got it. It's obviously, I'll pick up a little bit more as we go along, but it's really easy. So I would just advise any of you, if you do this on the sort of size jobs I do, and you're putting it on by hand, and you'll know how hard that is to put on by hand because it's hard stuff to work with. Spend 300 quid on this little kit. It was from CES Hire at the company, and they do different versions. I was originally going to get a Rafina one. So it was a Rafina tank, Rafina gun, you know, all singing, all dancing Rafina. And that was about 450 quid. They'd sold out of them, so the next thing I could see was this Clark one, and that was, I think it was 200 and something. It wasn't a lot of money, to be honest, and that comes with all the hose, all the gun, all the fittings, so you just literally plug it in and off you go and you're spraying. So, hopefully this is going to look as good to you as it does to me. What I absolutely love about this is that if your phone goes or something halfway through a wall, you can put that thing down, do what you got to do, and then go back to the spraying because there's no wet edge to worry about. And that's the thing that always got my heart beating out my chest, keeping that wet edge. And you know, sometimes you do lose a wet edge. I mean, I can think of 2 jobs previous that I'd wish I'd had this sprayer because I was doing it by hand. And I did one last year, and I think it got to about 30 degrees, and I lost a wet edge, and it didn't come out brilliant, to be honest. The people were really happy with it. If I've got the balls, I'll put a picture up of that now. but please don't slag me off. I was using, it was an Eco-Ren product, and apparently they're notoriously bad for skinning over quickly. As soon as I was putting it on and rubbing it up, it was starting to go like chewing gum, and I thought, it wasn't a great big wall, to be honest, thank God. And I lost it. I hold my hands up, I lost the wall, and I really wasn't happy with the outcome of it. The people were over the moon, and coincidentally, that's why I'm here, because then people recommended me to this letting agent, so they must know each other, and that's why I'm here doing this. But grab yourself a little set of this, and it will be superb. Right, that's the biggest of the walls on now. And again, that went on really nice, and I'll tell you where it comes into its own is around these reveals. You know, you just spraying it as if you would with a paint sprayer, so there's no mucking about trying to get little trails and things and rubbing it in. It's just a quick pass of that, and then pull the tape off after. I've taken the tape off around the box. I sprayed the little waste pipe because it was in a bit of a mess. Obviously I'll mask the tap up. Really, really pleased with the way it's coming out now, considering the state it was. You know, and this is on basically quite a rough background, so if you imagine if you was doing like a from new job and you was getting your base coat lovely and flat, it would look even better. There's a little bit of discrepancy there. It's 10 to 3 now, and annoyingly I've just run out of masking tape, so I'm gonna have to walk down the shops and get some. It's a pain in the arse, but what do I look like? I look human. Right, let's go get some tape and I'll be back. And there we have it, another late day, 6 o'clock now. I was in here at 7. But it's looking great. I'm really, really pleased with it. Couldn't have gone any better if I'm honest. It's just spent enough time masking up down the bottoms and that. I found just a decent masking tape was better than the cloth tape. I bought a cloth tape made by Anti-Nox, you know, the people that do the flooring. And it was absolutely rubbish. I found that the Tessa masking tape, like 2-inch painter's masking tape, stuck better to that, so that's what I used, and that gave me some fairly crisp edges. So it's all looking really good. Along the lines there, and I even did up that staircase. I couldn't leave it, so I just quickly did that as well. I didn't put a primer on it, I just sprayed that. Looks like a brand new house. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. So I always thought that compressors were sort of ear-piercingly noisy things, but that wasn't. It just hummed at a decent level. And I would say that was probably no louder than a Hoover or, like, you know, a dust extractor. Or definitely wasn't as loud as a sander. So it's something you could have in someone's house running. I don't think it would be too intrusive, really. So I might look at getting like more gravity-fed paint cups, you know, like for like woodwork and stuff like that. Because it'd be quite nice, because all you got to do is clean out that little hopper. You've got no like hose to flush through with it. You know, it's a bit like what they use in car garages. So it might be a nicer way to do it. And then obviously you can get other bits on it. You can get like little blower attachments and, well, all sorts of things really. And I don't think they're too dear actually, the attachments for like air driven things. I've seen them before. You can get a fairly decent paint gun for about 30 quid. So that's what I might do. So all in all, a good day. And getting that done in 2.5 days has allowed me to basically, it's paid for that whole compressor and that whole like spray gun setup. That was sort of the deal I made with myself. If I was going to treat myself to something like that, then I'd have to sort of earn it. Me sort of earning that extra day's money has paid for that now, so that's quite good. I'm glad that's done. Anyway, if you've enjoyed it, consider giving it a thumbs up or a subscribe. It's always something different, never usually the same thing from me. It does switch between different trades, but mostly plastering, mostly painting, but sometimes you'll get a little bit of that, or a bit of woodwork in it. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I will see you probably tomorrow.